Hello everybody, welcome back to Pokemon Masters. I'm joined by a very special guest today that I'm sure everybody knows. It is, of course, Goresh. Is that how you pronounce it?
So people pronounce it differently. Myself, I go with Goresh, but people
Goresh, okay.
people like Goresh, like I don't know. It doesn't
It's
matter.
the emphasis, man. There's no, I don't know where to put it.
Yeah,
Uh, so today we're going to be talking about a unit instead of fighting one or pulling for one. And it's going to be the brand new lady that just dropped, who is Sabrina, which I believe you like it's just as a character, right?
yeah. So I grew up watching Gen 1 anime and then also playing the Gen 1 games. So for me, I don't really know a lot of the newer characters. So just I don't know. I can relate to Sabrina more. I have a history with her, and she was one of my because I like Alakazam too as a Pokemon. So
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, where this was my start into Pokemon, but I probably played it longer because I recognize up to like once I start hitting Gen 5, my face recognition starts going away. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's so many Pokemon that's just not possible to know all just by
yeah,
looking at them.
you're gonna lose them. So Sabrina's actually really cool. I don't know how great I think that she is. That's something we can cover later. But her skill set is very unique. She's a Mega Evolution, but she's also a supporting Pokemon, not an offensive one. And I don't know how good that makes it because I don't know how often you're going to want to Mega Evolve. Mega Alakazam is fast as hell. It has almost 400 speed, which is a lot. It's got okay special attack. It's got like 270 without any buffs from the sync grade because I haven't put anything in her yet. But her main attraction is this skill here, Sixth Sense, which restores a little bit of health, which kind of doesn't matter because you buff early usually. But the good thing is that it drastically raises an ally's special attack stat and also raises their accuracy. So it gives +3 special attack to whoever you choose, and then also an accuracy buff to whoever you choose. So that makes her really good just as a special attack supporter because a lot of people that bring those items like X special attack all or whatever that cap at 4 for everyone, the 4 to your supporting stuff in single player doesn't matter. You're never going to use that. And also, Sabrina can use Sixth Sense on herself if you choose to Mega Alakazam for whatever reason. She can buff herself. She also has a Dire Hit All, which raises the crit of everybody, which is fine. And Reflect, which I think Light Screen is in the game. I think it's on Lyra and Meganium. But Reflect reduces physical damage done to your allies. I think it cuts it in half for a certain period of time. So she's got a lot of defensive potential with Reflect, and then she's got that Sixth Sense that makes her an incredible buffer. I don't think she's super great in co-op because you want that Mega Spot to go to somebody else and all those buffs. I mean, I guess actually, co-op is weird. If you organize a party with people and like collectively go as a team, she's probably pretty good. But if you're gonna random matchmake, I probably wouldn't use her. I think
yeah,
single
because
player is where she shines.
imagine just going into a co-op and everyone's using Sabrina.
And just everyone's
It's
just
like
buffing themselves up and I can't tell if that would
I don't know.
be stacked or terrible.
It's interesting though because that brings up a good point about just the co-op in general too. Because if you're running like a support unit, it's really hard to find a comp that's going to work with you specifically. I feel like they could implement something where you choose a role and then it matches you up with people who have other roles, right? Because if you're a support unit, you don't want to get matched up with another support unit.
Right.
So I don't know. That would help.
Yeah, co-op is kind of become like you have to just look out for yourself and just build a rotation of Pokemon that work well as a 1-1-1 kind of lineup. But that really limits what you can do for support because if that middle Pokemon can't pass their buffs away to whoever's in the back, it's kind of pointless. Like that's why Eevee and Dusclops get so much play because they can pass those buffs off. Someone like Sabrina who can't do that, she's really got to be buffing an active attacker. Now, granted, Red is literally what everyone brings, so she can buff him up and he won't have to cut his own defenses, I guess, with My Destiny. But I still think single player is where she's the best.
And then also, even if a red does end up using My Destiny, like the Reflect can help a lot.
Yeah, that's true too. Reflect, I think, it's very costly. That's the only thing I don't like about Reflect and Light Screen is that they take 3 move gauges and you can only use them twice. I feel like they should just be quick moves if they're gonna have that limitation on them. I don't like that they have both. they should either cost 3 gauges, because 3 gauges is a lot in co-op, or
Yeah.
they should have no limit on uses. Like if
Do we know how long it lasts?
I don't have an exact time frame. I'm pretty sure that like stuff like it and light screen and that buff from Holiday Rosa that makes everyone's sync gauge fill faster last about the same amount of time. I don't have I think ballpark I'll say 30 seconds. It doesn't last that long.
I mean, 30 seconds is not like very short.
No, it's good when you think about how long a Pokemon Masters battle is. It's good. 2 uses of it will easily cover you the whole battle.
I think especially in co-op, because co-op ends up, for me at least, lasting a lot longer than just single play.
Oh yeah. For sure.
So I think maybe she ends up getting a lot less value out of Reflect in co-op, which makes.
Yeah. So her basic attack is Psybeam, which has a very small chance of leaving the target confused, which I believe is like 10%. So, or maybe even lower than that. I think very small is 10%, but it might be lower. So you can't really rely on that. Plus the power is only 48. That's terrible. When it Mega Evolves,
that's so bad.
it's really bad. When she goes to Mega Alakazam, it becomes Psychic, which is a 99 base power that has a very small chance of lowering special defense instead. So she's kind of like, she's not a super masterful support character like Singa Elisa is, where she's just the queen of ridiculous support moves. But with Sabrina, she's almost built like kind of able to switch roles, sort of. Because you can play support, and then if for whatever reason you decide that you need to bring some heat instead, she can Mega Evolve and start throwing hands. Even with Psychic, she's not going to hit the kind of damage levels that someone like Red can do, but she's going to hit a whole lot harder than like, you know, your Superior or something like that.
Yeah, I think that flexibility is actually really useful too, because like I'm gonna bring up like a different game. I'm gonna bring up Dokkan, because like in Dokkan, obviously Strength Cooler is like one of the best units in the game, and one of the reasons why he's so good is because of flexibility. Like he can be a support unit or someone that hits super hard, and that's pretty much what we're seeing with Sabrina here, right? Like obviously the game's a lot different, but I think the flexibility is there, and that's gonna help her a lot in terms of like the longevity that she can have as someone that's going to be useful.
Yeah, I agree. And special attack support is in a weird place because one, it's very easy to get for free because you get both Rosa and Torchic for free. But Sabrina is the best at it because she can cap out an ally. And the Pokemon that need her are really, really good. So just some ones off the top of my head that I think work incredible with her is Lance is the first one, because Lance has no way to buff his own damage output, and he struggles with that little bit of accuracy missing on Hyper Beam. She kind of feels built to maximize Dragonite. A little bit, at least in my opinion. She gives him everything that he wants. Maxed out special attack, and his Hyper Beam isn't going to miss anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely big. Something else to mention with Lance, though, is that I think he's one of the characters who doesn't have a without sync grid yet. Am I right on that?
Correct. He is one of the only two fair units that do not have a sync grid yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're eventually going to see that built out at some point, and then when we do, I feel like running Sabrina along with him is going to be crazy. Like he's going to hit for like 7,000 on Hyper Beam.
Oh yeah, he already hits for an absurd amount of damage. I mean, Hyper Beam's base power is 256, plus he has the passive that changes it to a Dragon type attack, which gives it that additional damage bonus.
Yeah.
For comparison, Red's Blast Burn, the power on that is 213. And I have a couple buffs in it from his sync grid.
Yeah.
So he's still hitting harder than Red is. When he gets that grid, Lance is going to be crazy.
I'm looking forward to it.
I bet you are. Another unit that she's really good with is Giovanni and Mewtwo, because Mewtwo also has absolutely no way to buff his own special attack, but his natural special attack is almost 500. He's so strong.
Yeah. It looks like they were even made to run with each other, because like you look at just the event literally just went up. And now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Here you go. Summonable unit that works like.
Yep. She is also, there's one, oh yeah, of course, my main man, Blue. She's really good with Blue. Blue can self-support a whole lot better than Lance and Giovanni can, but Blue just doesn't need to. If he's got Sabrina there, she can maximize everything that he wants to do right away, and then he can just start lighting people up. He is a really underrated character right now. He was the very first new unit put into the game, because when the game launched, it just had sort of a starter pool of units, and then the very first new banner released was Blue. And so ever since he came out, people have kind of downplayed him, because the meta was always, you know, oh, it's Olivia or Brendan or whatever, and Blue's just kind of okay. When Blue gets a sync grid, he has a very high chance of becoming the best unit in the game other than Red, because I don't think anyone will be better than Red for a long time. But Blue is going to be really
And
strong.
they're both AoE units.
Yeah, so they're both AoE units. They both have a nuking single target attack between Blast Burn and Hurricane. And then the biggest problem with Hurricane is its accuracy is terrible. But you can make up with that with Sabrina, and you can even use Blue's innate accuracy buff if you want to, just to make sure that it never misses. Blue is going to be very solid. And those are 3 top tier units that she makes way better. And
Yeah,
I mean, she makes any special attacker better, obviously, because they don't have to buff themselves and waste time. But those are 3 units especially that really love her company.
Yeah, and then like, let's not also ignore the fact that we're definitely going to be getting a lot more special attacker units in the future. Like, this game is releasing so many characters that I wouldn't be surprised if in like 2 months from now we have like 3 other really top tier special attackers too, which will work well with her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm looking forward to eventually is if they release a unit that's able to pass special attack buffs. That would be a very interesting combination. I hope that happens at some point. Technically, there is one, but it's not very good at doing that. So I guess I'm not counting it, which may be
like what
unfair.
kind of combos do you think we could see with that?
Just with special attack buffing in general, or with passing?
With passing, if they did that.
Oh, actually, I guess now that I think about it, you'd still need a pre-made team combination, right? But imagine being able to buff up somebody. God, I wish Sabrina herself did it. I would love to have someone like Sabrina that could be a support offensive Pokemon that could then pass to someone like Lance when it dies. Imagine being able to break open teams with just like sort of a sprightly attacker like Sabrina can be, very fast but not super strong. And then whenever she finally goes down, some Titan like Red or Lance just drops and just starts blowing people up, instead of only getting passes from hardcore supports. Because right now, the only people that can support can't do any damage. Like, Eevee doesn't hurt at all.
True.
Dusknoir kind of can, but not really. Being able to have someone like Sabrina, oh man, that'd be incredible. But now I'm fantasizing.
I guess Sabrina's pretty much the only supporter that can hit decently hard, right?
Off the top of my head, yes. Because you think supporters, I mean, it's like Skyla, Torchic, Singa Elisa can hit kind of hard, but not really.
I forgot about her, yeah.
She's the only supporter that doesn't rely on wasting her buffs to hit kind of hard. Because you think with...
Do you think that...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that Sabrina is a better support for Red than Elisa?
No, only because mitigating his defense loss is not as important as getting him to sync sooner, in my opinion. I think any Mega Evolution, I think it's pretty hard to top Elisa. The ability to sync faster is going to be very broken for a very long time.
But what about... Because, like, I'm thinking you mitigate the defense loss with Alakazam, and then you Mega with Alakazam instead of Megaing with Charizard.
You can
to
do
get that extra damage from Alakazam.
Yeah, that would definitely be a way to go if you wanted to sort of diversify your attacks a little bit. The only thing that worries me with that is that you have no real move gauge backup.
That's true, yeah.
Single player is built weird. It's built very weird. Like, I think co-op is structured well, and like teams follow a very specific flow in co-op. Whereas with single player, it really feels like they're pushing you to just have a nuke and 2 people that buff your nuke. Like, I still run Lance in a lot of single player stuff because he just does like 4K with a hyper beam and just goes about his business. Yeah. And Red, obviously, Red sweeps in co-op and single player as well. But
yeah, you just heat wave everything and
pretty
they're dead.
much. And then they die before you even Mega Evolve if you're fighting an easy fight. Boy, did they release a broken unit right there. But I do think Sabrina's really good. She kind of falls into this problem that a lot of new units are gonna have, in that if you're not a Pokefair unit, you just don't really justify being pulled for, just because of the way banners work in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm like, especially if you're free to play. I'm trying to remain free to play in this game. So far, it's been working out pretty well for me. But at some point, it's going to catch up with me. But if you take a look at the actual rates, like the rates of every single banner is 7%, but then the Pokefair rates are 10%. So just from that alone, it doesn't really make sense to go out of your way and summon for someone like Sabrina, or they just announced somebody else coming today who I assume is also not going to be a Pokefair
That is
unit.
Fantina. She's not. She's just a regular banner.
The only saving grace that you have for pulling on these banners is you get a ton of stuff if you pull the new character. Like literally, I think it gives you everything you need to fully raise their level cap, and
Yes,
also
that is true.
get all their passives and stuff. So
That is new with Sabrina. Technically, gifts on summon started with red, but that was only sync orbs. Sabrina is new to the giving you all of the mats to awaken them, and I think that's probably their way of trying to entice you to pull when you probably don't need to otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, the real way to entice you to pull would be to just raise the rates to 10% on every other banner, but that's not a Pokefair.
Yeah, I agree. That would make the most sense. But, you know, it's strange how they do Pokefairs, because the rates are 10%, but the rate for actually, like, the featured unit doesn't change. So it just results in you getting a horde of off features, which makes pulling on non-fair banners even more devalued.
Yeah. I mean, 2% is really, really good for the new unit, so...
Oh, I agree, yeah.
I don't really think they're going to increase that at all, but yeah, I think it definitely hurts the non-Pokefair banners, too, because it's like, okay, well, they're the same rate.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. But, oh my god, we've been talking for 17 minutes about Sabrina already. So let's go ahead and just... What do you think about her? Out of 5, on an arbitrary scale that I just made up, how would you rank her out of 5?
I'd probably give her a 3. She's good, but I don't think she's necessary. Like as we just concluded, right? As a support unit, she's good. I think her biggest asset probably is Reflect, I would say. Just from what I've experienced, I've had some troubles with dealing with just taking way too much damage. Because probably my team is not set up correctly, A, and then B, the longer you can have Charizard alive is just better for your team.
Yep.
That's just how that's what it comes
That
down
is
to
sort of what the meta is right now, isn't it? Just the longer Charizard lives, the better you are.
Yeah.
I agree with that rating. I'd say she's probably around a 3 to a 3.5 as well. She's very strong. She's not very essential. There's nothing that I look at her and I'm like, damn, if only I had Sabrina. But she does feel strong and useful. And you're right, defense is kind of weirdly enough, is sort of a commodity in this game, because not very many people have the ability to increase defense at all. So.
Yeah, and then even if you look at like the summoning, like the banner, the description is like, Sabrina uses Reflect to support her team. It's like that's what it's like marketing her as.
Right. And she does have a little bit of heal too, so you know she can always top somebody up if they can buff themselves. That's actually something I didn't even think about until literally right this second, is if you have someone like Red who buffs himself up before Sabrina double buffs him with her special attack raise, she can always heal him later.
Yeah, and that also kind of mitigates the effects of all right.
A little bit, yeah.
It also increases the value of Reflect too, because you take less damage, you have more time to heal.
Yep, so HP, basically, if it cuts physical damage in half, then I'm probably doing this math terribly wrong. But basically, if it's cutting your physical damage in half, that more or less increases the value of your HP against physical attacks, which thereby makes heals have higher value. Her kit's good. It's well thought out. She's an interesting Pokemon that I think is just going to take a little bit of time before she finds her legs, because I don't think she has a perfect top-tier partner yet.
Yeah, until Lance gets a Synchrid, then I think everything's going to go crazy.
It's all over when Lance gets his Synchrid. Hyper Beam, base power, 375.
Oh my god, please.
Well, alright everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about Sabrina. I did not expect talking about Sabrina to go on for 20 minutes, but her kit is interesting enough that we managed to somehow make that happen. As always, I'm sure you guys know who Goresh is, but if you don't, I will put links to his stuff in the description if for some reason you don't know who he is by now. Anything that you want to tell people to do before we sign off?
Have fun with the game.
There you go.
No, seriously though, I'm not. I'm not like I'm not super into this game yet, but I'm learning still. Hopefully, within the next month or two, I'll be mastering the game. But yeah, having a lot of fun with it. Looking forward to what.
All right, that sounds good to me. So we will see you guys next time. See you later.